Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If you're in the middle of a restraining order, if you're in the middle of a court case where there's allegations of abuse um, toward your baby's mom, um, or harassment or anger management problems or whatever, if I don't know why people don't distance themselves from their baby's mom. They'll say stuff like, "Oh, I'm just trying to work it out. I'm just trying to be cool. I'm just trying to co-parent." I've had seen guys say, "I want to co-parent. I want to make us co-parent." Like you sound really pushy. You guys need to have some self-awareness as to what you're even talking about. If she's sitting there, I mean, some of this stuff is really just common sense, and some of you don't use any to your own detriment. You just you have to step outside yourself and realize you're about to talk to a total stranger when you go in front of a judge. They don't know you, they don't know your case. You can't be in this little world of yourself saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm a good guy and I'm a nice guy, and look at me and look at me and look at me." And then you could say whatever you want. This is a game of perception with the total strangers. If you go into a job interview, don't you realize that person doesn't know you and you have to impress them and you have to put your best foot forward and you got to not say anything stupid? I've seen some guys go in there and say they want to reconcile with their ex or their wife or whatever, and she's distancing herself from you. And you're sitting there looking like an obsessive stalker. And they get the restraining order against you. A lot of you people are going to make either be tempted to or going to say some comment saying, "Oh, I fought against a restraining order and they screwed me over." You did not do what I'm telling worked for me, and works for everybody else. Stop putting in the comments how you lost if you didn't get a consult with me and you didn't do what I say. Those people who do that are total moronic, airheaded idiots because you're talking to somebody who won, you lost, you probably did something wrong. If there's somebody out there who lost weight and you didn't lose weight, you can't hate on them and say what they did doesn't work. You didn't try it. I have to keep compelling people until everybody wants to tell their little narcissistic story of how they lost and why they lost because they're so traumatized by it. How about you wake the hell up and actually care about your kids enough so that when you realize, oh, here's somebody who won, let me just shut the hell up and listen to what they got to say instead of running my mouth and whining and crying and talking about my own victimhood. I acknowledge your victimhood. I acknowledge it just by being here and giving people answers. But I don't want to sit here and wallow in it and listen to your loser story. I won. Here's a winning story. Why should I sit there and answer and reply to and DM and spend hours a day talking to losers who lost? Now, you're not a loser as a human being, but you lost, so you're the loser. If a team didn't win a championship, lost a championship, they're the losers and the other team's the winner. Get out of your little ego thing that you want everybody to acknowledge that you tried and you need some affirmation or whatever. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to help you. So here's the obvious thing that you should do from somebody who's trying to distance themselves from you. Distance yourself from them. My restraining order situation turned a 180 when I woke up in the middle of when I had a little eureka moment in the middle of my court hearing. My baby's mom and her roommates were like, "James keeps calling the house and this and that." And I was like, wait a minute, I'm calling the house to see my daughter. What are they even oh, wait a minute. And I said, "Your Honor, I'm getting the sense that there's a perception in here that I'm calling the house to talk to the mother. I could care less whether I talk to her ever again. I just want to know how my daughter is doing." And after that, it was a wrap. And anything, see, pulled the rug out from under. I pulled the rug out from under her. She had nothing else to stand on. She was like, "James is this relationship," and we didn't really have much of a relationship. This relationship, and she wanted to look like a victim in front of her sisters and her fat ugly sisters who never could get a man, and one of them, now that she's 50, has never had a boyfriend. The other one, you know, didn't have a boyfriend had no interest from any man for 33 years of her life. And she went and lost a little bit of weight and got a case of the hot tail and was running around. They're all three of them still never been married. And probably none of them have a man. But in any case, anytime anybody's going in a restraining order, in my opinion, they should go and say, "Look, I could care less whether I talk to this woman ever again. It would be nice if we can co-parent for the sake of our daughter, but our child, daughter, son, our kids. But obviously we can't. So I'm just trying to be an involved father, and so some of you guys are really, really I mean, I hate to beat up on people, but I put this stuff out here and people don't take notes. They don't write stuff down. They don't say it exactly the way I say it. And then I'll say, "Did you say this in court?" "Yeah, I did." "So you said those exact words that, oh, no, not exactly like that." If you're not saying stuff exactly like I'm talking about, then you're not saying what I'm saying. Don't be that freaking stupid. Okay? If I say there's a big yellow bus over there parked on the street, and you say there's a small black Honda Civic, we didn't say the same thing because we're both talking about a vehicle. Some of you idiots think as long as one word matches vehicle or something, that we said the same exact thing. Some of you need to learn to listen and absorb what you're hearing. A lot of you just it literally goes through one ear and out the other. Like, yeah, 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 I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that. Are you coming? Are you trying to learn from this page, or are you just trying to like, oh, that's cool that James did that. That makes me feel better. Now I'm going to go fight. How are you going to fight? Oh, I don't know. Just James did it, so I'm going to do it. You got to get out of your laziness and actually have the balls to take some time and sacrifice some time away from chugging beer, watching the football game, hanging out with your buddies, sleeping in, and actually sit down and take some notes and absorb what I'm talking about. If I talk about the law in your state, go look it up and read it for yourself. I have people like, oh, if only you were my attorney. If only you could write my papers for me. If only you can do it yourself. If you listen to what I'm saying and go look at the stuff that I'm saying to look up, it's right there for the taking for you. It's your fault that you don't absorb this stuff. It's your fault that you don't take this stuff down or take notes or say stuff exactly like I'm talking has worked for everybody else. If I had to do it again, now that was when I had the eureka moment. That was the second hearing, and halfway through the second hearing, and the judge said, "Well, we don't even need a restraining order." And the mother and her crew were like, "No, help her!" And so the bleeding heart judge like, "Okay, I'll grant a temporary restraining order until you go to family court." Then it drops off, and then it dropped off forever. And she tried six other times and never got it. I right from the beginning, I would say I could care less whether I talk to this woman ever again, and that's number one. Number two, the only reason I even talk to her is because she has 100% control of my access to the children. Number three, every man should propose this. I propose that we have, visitation exchanges in a public place or at a police station, ideally a police station. Then she can't say, oh, he just wants me to be at visitation exchanges so he can harass me. You're proposing a police station. If you're the one proposing, and every guy that I've ever dealt with, that in their paperwork they ask for a restraining order that neither parent can go onto the other person's grounds of their home. If they're going to do a visitation exchange at the home, they pull up at the curb and they stay in the car. You set the boundaries so that you guys have as little or no contact at all. If you initiate that, then she can't possibly say your stuff. Oh, he just wants to stalk me and see me at visitation exchanges. Your Honor, I proposed a police station. Your Honor, I propose that we stay in the car. My kids are 4 and 5. They can hop out of the car themselves. I propose that we be able to videotape exchanges, and that way there's oh, he wants to keep me under surveillance. Your Honor, what's the harm in? I did a video on this before. What's the harm in videotape? And everybody thinks it's a bad thing. If I have videotape of an exchange, nobody's going to act up, and that's a protective thing. If you order that we can't videotape each other, then people can do any kind of nefarious stuff. This courthouse has video cameras right in this room. If it's harassing to videotape somebody, then you're being harassing right now. You know, we have them on any street, every street corner. We have them in this courtroom, outside in the court hallways, outside the courthouse. We have them at the police station. So if you're saying there's something wrong with videotaping somebody out in public, then we need to wipe it all out. But actually, that's not true because we have them everywhere for everybody's safety and precaution. So why would you not that want to be a safety thing? But I'm proposing safeguards. I'm proposing that we have visitation exchanges at the police station. I'm proposing we shouldn't talk except through Family Wizard. And I really don't, we shouldn't even talk about anything about unless, hey, I'm going to be late, or here's an alternative to what we're doing, or if we're making joint decisions. We don't need to talk about anything. See, if you distance yourself from her, but some of you stupid jackasses go into the, oh, I love her, I still want to be with her, or I want to co-parent, let's co-parent, I want to be involved, and you talk about, I was, before she took off and left, I was saying how much I love her and I care, because you're such a stupid dumbass. You think you're going to win brownie points or Eagle Scout points in the court by being a great lover when, in a Valentine, when she was trying to leave and flee you because she's lying. See, step outside yourself and realize how you're being perceived in court. She's accusing you of being a monster. Stop giving in or giving them fodder to use against you and distance yourself immediately. No matter how bad you're heartbroken, no matter how bad it hurts. If she wants to reconcile, she can reconcile after you get control of the kids. Screw all that bullcrap. Save your relationship with your kids first. Distance yourself.